All right, Maryland home inspections. What buyers and sellers need to know. Okay, it's a fun topic because there's a lot of ins and outs in this, and these can make or break deals. Okay, so whether you're buying or selling in Maryland, knowing what to expect before and after an inspection can save you thousands of dollars and a whole lot of stress. Today, we're going to cover what buyers should expect from their home inspection process, what sellers need to do to prepare and avoid surprises, Maryland's must-know laws and inspection requirements, how to navigate repairs and credits after an inspection, and then current market trends. Are buyers waiving inspections? What's going on in Maryland? Okay, so let's start with what happens during a home inspection. So in Maryland, most contracts include an inspection contingency. That gives the buyers anywhere from 5 to 14 days, really whatever they negotiate in there. Most inspections happen within 10 days to have a licensed, awesome, hopefully, home inspector professionally inspect the property. And here's how it works. You want to schedule the inspection ASAP if you are the buyer or the buyer's agent. You have to make sure that you hire somebody who is a licensed Maryland home inspector right after the contract is signed. Delays in doing that can lead to missing that contingency deadline, meaning you're going to be buying that home as is. You're not going to have the right to negotiate the way that you would up front. Here's what the inspector checks. They're going to examine the foundation. They're going to examine the roof. They're going to look at all of the HVAC systems. They're going to look at the electrical. They're going to look at plumbing. They're going to make sure that the appliances are working the way that they should. There is more to uncover here, so they're going to look for mold. They can test for radon. They can test for a bevy of other things. What they're not going to be able to do is look behind walls, but they're going to give you a surface overview of all of the safety hazards and major defects with the property, and throw in some minor ones too that are just items to watch. After about 2 to 3 hours of walking through, some inspections can last a little bit longer if it's a larger house, the inspector will provide a detailed report. And that report is going to have photos and explanations of any issues that popped up during the home inspection. Don't panic when you see the report. Every house, even a new construction, will have some issues, okay? The key is knowing what's a deal breaker and what is just routine maintenance. Here's some common inspection findings in Maryland homes. I mean, every region has its quirks. Maryland's no different. So here are some of the most common home inspection findings in our state. Number one, and this is usually a big topic, water and moisture problems. We have a lot of basements and crawl spaces in Maryland that often have moisture issues due to poor drainage. Make sure that the gutters are clear, sump pumps are working properly. If it's not a vapor barriered space, you're going to want that because you don't want critters, you don't want water sitting. When you have water sitting in a crawl space or sitting in a basement, that's when mold festers. Number two, aging roofs and attics. Inspectors frequently find missing shingles. We get high winds sometimes. They find ventilation issues based on whenever that roof was put in. They can find evidence of past leaks that may or may not have been fixed. Roof condition can be a big ticket item, and it's something that we're seeing pop up significantly more often on reports nowadays. A good solid roof should last you anywhere from 25 to 30 years. Better roofs, good quality roofs can last up to 50 years. If you have a slate roof, it can last even longer than that. It really depends on the region that you're in, but you want to make sure that that roof is in good condition. A solid foundation and a solid roof keep the home intact. Number three, pest damage and termite damage. Maryland's climate makes homes vulnerable to termites. And we have subterranean termites, meaning they're coming from underneath the earth and they crawl up and they find wood to go and eat. So you always want to make sure that you're requesting a wood destroying insect inspection. Radon levels. Okay, this is another one. Montgomery County requires radon testing for all homes. Other counties in Maryland don't require it, but it's usually recommended. Radon is it's an invisible gas that could have some adverse effects to your health if your house is sitting on rock bed. I don't want to get into. All right, the next most common thing we see is old electrical and HVAC systems. You know, a lot of our region was developed in the 60s, 50s, 70s. Some newer construction even has some of the stuff, but your inspector will find sometimes outdated fuse boxes, aluminum wiring, aging HVAC systems that are, past their useful life. These things are flagged regularly in older Maryland homes. So as a buyer, you don't want to get caught up in cosmetic defects. You want to focus on major defects like leaks, foundation issues, safety hazards. A home that is old and that has an old but functioning furnace, that's normal. A furnace leaking carbon monoxide, that's a problem. So try to keep each item in perspective. I know that you want the perfect house. I know that you want it to be completely done for you. I get it. But the reality is you're buying a house that someone else has lived in, and you want to focus on structural, safety, and health problems, not cosmetic problems or things that you might have to budget to replace for in a couple years. So what's my advice to sellers before an inspection? So generally speaking, a little preparation can prevent big headaches. Here's how to pass your inspection with flying colors. Fix any minor repairs in advance. Patch up small leaks, replace missing shingles, change HVAC filters to show proper maintenance. If you have, most people have a punch list of items like, if I was going to stay in this house longer, here's what I would do. Just go ahead and knock them out. It's going to save you a lot of time and hassle and headache at the time of inspection when you do get a contract. Check for termites. You should consider a pre-listing termite inspection and treatment if it's needed. This will reassure buyers. It's not guaranteed that you're going to have termites. Some houses already have a termite treatment plan in place from when they purchased. That's fine. But do yourself a favor, check for some of this stuff just to make sure that you don't have any issues moving forward. You want to be honest on disclosures. No one likes a liar. It's bad business. It's unethical. We all know people that do it. It's a no-no. Okay. Maryland law requires either a full disclosure or an as-is disclaimer. But even an as-is disclaimer must disclose major defects like structural issues or past flooding. A well-prepared home leads to fewer repair requests, fewer deal-killing surprises, and smoother closings. So if you're willing to and you have the time, do the prep work. Trust me, you'll benefit from it. Now, next topic is how to negotiate repairs or credits after the inspection. In a lot of cases, it depends on the contract that was written, but buyers can request repairs, they can request credits, or a price reduction based on a credit amount. Here's what works best for both sides. So for buyers, focus on serious defects. Don't focus on cosmetic issues. Cosmetic issues are just going to piss off a seller. Bottom line, if you were selling a house and somebody told you that I just do not like that drywall tape is coming off of that one corner in the living room, I don't like it, you're going to get upset. It's been like that for 5 years and it hasn't bothered you. Or if you hadn't fixed it, why would you fix it for them? So don't focus on the little stuff. Focus on the big stuff. For buyers, ask for repairs or a credit, not both if you can avoid it. If you're coming up with a credit, you need to use contractor estimates to justify those requests. You can't pull a number out of your ass. It's not going to work. You need to have bona fide details of what things are going to cost in order to present the seller with a credit amount. And don't use a handyman. You need a licensed Maryland state contractor. Okay. Get a licensed contractor who's in good standing with the state to estimate these repairs, get you an estimate, and justify these request credits. For sellers, you should prioritize health and safety issues. Okay. Electrical hazards, septic issues, well quality. You want to make sure that the house that you're selling is not going to be a health hazard for somebody. It's not good business, and you wouldn't want somebody to do that to you. Offer a closing credit instead of repairs if you want to speed up the process. Not every case can allow this, but in most cases you can. So if you determine a closing credit amount based on those estimates, which you have the right as a seller to get your own estimates for the same fixes, then offer a closing credit in lieu of doing repairs if the buyer will be willing to accept that. It'll speed up the process and take one less thing off your plate. Stand firm on minor issues. No house is perfect. Buyers know that. They might not have, a buyer might have their heart set on stuff, but a good agent on both sides is able to step back from the process, make sure that both sides are aware of the issues, and what the ultimate goal is. So stand firm on minor issues. You don't have to fix every little thing, but fix the big things if it comes up, or give them a credit in lieu. The goal is to find a fair solution. You always want to be fair so that the sale moves forward. Buyers, be reasonable. Sellers, address real issues. Keep emotions out of it. I know it's hard, but it's all part of the process of doing this. So if you can do that, you'll set yourself up for success. So let's talk about trends that we're seeing in inspections right now. A couple of years ago, buyers were waiving inspections left and right to compete in bidding wars. Today, it's changed a little bit. In 2024, 80% of Maryland home buyers are not waiving inspections. That still means 20% are, but those 80% want a due diligence period so they can find out exactly what they're getting. We're seeing in the beginning of spring in 2025, more people willing to do that for properties that are turnkey and in desirable areas, because those properties are getting bidding wars. It doesn't mean that you can't do inspections, but it does mean that your deal is not contingent on doing it. So if you do find an issue, then there is no out for you. And if I'm a seller, I'm probably not keen to let you have an inspection if you're not contingent on an inspection. Buyers will still waive these contingencies in hot markets. But another tactic that we're seeing some people do is something called a pre-offer inspection. This is super common and has been common in DC for quite some time, but in this inventory short market where we have really hot competitions going on, a pre-offer inspection can allow you to be a more competitive offer. And here's what I mean. A pre-offer inspection means you will go into the property with an inspector. It will not be an invasive inspection. They're not going to be able to take stuff apart and look at it, but you will be able to walk and talk and point out things, whether it's at a showing or an open house, with the seller and the seller's agent's permission. You can do a pre-offer inspection, so you have a pretty good idea of what you're getting. It's not perfect, but it makes you feel a little bit more confident heading into those negotiations and give you the opportunity to not put an inspection contingency in a contract. And that could be the difference between winning a deal and not. Sellers are a little bit more open to negotiating than they were during 2020, 2021, and that whole COVID frenzy. But again, keep it reasonable. Inspections are here to stay. Maryland buyers should always do their due diligence if the situation allows for it, and sellers should prepare for reasonable negotiations. So whether you're buying or selling, knowing how to navigate inspections can save you time, money, stress. And if you need an expert to help guide you through this, we're here to help. That's what an agent is for.